And I mean, when we do the transits, we use conjunction squares, oppositions, basically, and we watch them one planet at a time going around affecting different planets in your chart, and we saw how they worked. You can go into it more deeply and do stages. You can take the Saturn cycle and break it up from conjunction squares to add other things into it. I just find it's how much time is there to do everything. It's pretty thorough. What we did to get the main basics, we cut down to the main core to work with it so we could see it clearly. So now you know these things. This is just expanding it. It's opening up potential, trying to make you think a little bit more so that when we get to progressions, you can have a more wondrous approach to them, a more intuitive approach, or there's something happens in progressions that are very different. So, okay, that's this chart. And the next one I have here, where are we? Okay, we're early, but we'll have a little video to talk. We'll talk about these a bit after. This is, I'm going to pause this for a second. This is a video I recently made. It's relating the aspect cycle of Sun Moon, going through the Sun's in Aries and the Moon conjunction Aries. Then the Moon will go to, there'll be a Sun Aries, a Sun Taurus, a Sun Gemini, a Sun Cancer, Sun Leo, Sun Virgo, Sun Libra, Sun Scorpio, Sun Sag, Sun Capricorn, Sun Aquarius, Sun Pisces, and it moves to Taurus. And there's a cycle around, so you can compare. If you do all of the signs and all of the 12 moon signs, you have 144 types. Well, these 144 types, they represent 144. They represent, in this cycle, each cycle represents 12 phases of the moon, 12 cycles around the year. As it goes around the year, it also, there's sounds, or there's musical notes for every sign of the zodiac, and you can play this musically. So the intervals can be expressed by the relationship of color of each sign to each other. That's a whole intuitive thing. It's a new layer of astrology that hasn't been used much. It was in ancient days, but it's not so much. It's just growing now. And the sound and the color and the sound, you know, these are, they relate to the signs of the zodiac and the planets. I mean, astrological theory and music theory are almost identical. The numbers, the patterns, the cycles. So these have come together, and this is a video I've made. I just made it recently, and really for this class, I did it over the last few months. Really, some of the drawings and other things were done over a number of years. So, but it's showing all these sun moon phases that you're seeing. Each sign has a color, and the planet, like if the sun's in red Aries and the moon's in Leo, yellow, there'll be a line of yellow going to the sun and a line of red going to the moon. There's this, each aspect has a two-colored line, has a mood or a feeling, a color, a bicolor. And so as you go through all the 12 signs and all the 12 comparisons of it, you have 144 mixtures of color. You have really a spectrum of color. And just as we have the two colors relating, you have two notes, one for each sign, that creates an interval. And there's an interval for each aspect, for each sun moon sign. And so this is a video that shows you the sun moon aspects. You can see the waxing, you see the waning, you can hear the waxing and the waning. Because how it will work is the sun is the main, so if the sun's in Aries, it'll be a boom, it'll be one line, and then the moon will be da, 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 there'll be boom, da, boom, da, boom, da. It goes around till the full moon, doom, da, and then it starts going da, doom, da, doom, da, doom, da, doom. It starts coming back from the moon back to the sun as the moon's coming back towards the sun. So you can hear the waxing, you can hear the waning, you can see the colors. This is a whole new area of astrology. I don't see this new because it's always been there, but it's not really written about it. We don't really see about it. I've been somewhat obsessed on it, I guess, over my career. It's too fascinating. So I'm going to play this, and maybe I can think of a few more things to talk about as we finish this. But this is, okay, sun, moon, color, and musical scales. And I just played it because I made this up. I played it on the harp. So I could have done a piano, but I did on the harp because I wanted to have it tuned to A equals 432. Most of our scales in modern music and modern instruments are scaled with A is 440. And it was something, it was an arrangement that was made in Europe as they were starting to market newer instruments and newer things. And it's built up like this. And there's a, you can check the web, and if you check A equals 432, there's an adjustment of the scale. Before, it used to be A was set at 432, not 440, which is using today. It brings it down a semitone or just a little less. But that 9 hertz, it comes down, it comes down this small amount. And when it comes down, it lowers all the notes. But as soon as you do that, the patterns and the intervals fit to the patterns of this, of the sun, of the orbits of the planets, of the cycles. It fits the crystals. All of a sudden, and I thought, well, I just changed it. It's not a big deal. When I changed the tuning systems and I started playing it, it was so incredibly, it had such a different effect on me. So I don't imagine you'll see the effect that much in this. A very simple mechanical sort, but I used the harp to make these notes because it was tuned to A equals 432. It's not our standard notes. And that's one thing. Second, so that's one thing about the scale of the music you're going to hear. And the other, oh yeah, there's a written bar graph of music that, well, when it gets to the first one, I'll stop it and then we can go through and we'll start through it. But, okay, so here we go. Okay, so here's the first one. This is, you're going to have 144 of these sheets, drawings. There's our colored horoscope form. There's the sun and moon together in Aries. Here's how I write music. And I changed the way I write music because of astrology. We're so used to music being 5 lines and 6 spaces. You know, it's when there's really 12 notes in a scale. When I changed the 6 lines and 6 spaces, something really strange happened. All the semitones were just represented away. You don't have to do anything fancy to find out sharps or flats or anything else. And the scales of the zodiac, there was 1 line for each scale of for each planet, each sign of the zodiac, and there's 1 line for each color. So it started with C being Aries, C sharp being Taurus. So the lines are the masculine signs: Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sag, and Aquarius, and the spaces are the feminine lines on this bar graph. As soon as I did this, it just came out. So I have on this little symbol at the bottom here, you'll see it's going to, you're seeing like it going through half. This is the waxing half: Aries to Aries, Aries to Taurus, Aries to Gemini, Aries to Cancer, Aries to Leo, Aries to Virgo. At the same time, you're seeing a conjunction, the 30-degree aspect, the sextile, the square, the trine, the quincunx, the inconjunct, and then the opposition is the beginning of the waning half. So this, it's a magical little thing. I hope to write a book about this sometime in the next year or so, but I've been working with it for quite a few, 5 or 10 years, maybe 12 years or more now. But this is a scale. It's just using, it has all the music. It's just there, 1, 2, 3, 4, just straight up. You don't have to remember it. Like everything is a half a note, half a note across from each other. Everything's equal. Whereas on the Western scale or Western bar graph, B to C is like written down like 1 note. It's a hidden lie almost because they're not all even as you're looking across the bars. This puts it back to even. And when it did, it fit to the signs of the zodiac, it fit to the colors, it fit to the I Ching hexagrams, and it just opened up. Like I got undone, and I've been there ever since. Unfortunately, most of the world isn't. So this is okay. This is me talking about these graphs, but let's go through it and watch it. We can talk a bit more after. So you're going to see the next one. Just move it over. Okay, so the next one was 1 up 1 note. You see, there's the moon Aries, and you watch this. The inside they're shaded, so you're going to see half will be red and half will be one half will be the color of what the sign the moon is in. So I'll just let it go through. Aries, Leo, Aries, Virgo. That's the full moon waning. Sag, Aries, Capricorn, Aries, Aquarius, Aries. And it moves to Taurus. Then we get to Gemini. In the colors, you can see the light and the darkness. You can see the brighter and the darker signs. You can really see the darker winter signs here, the darker colors.